I've been drawing for 15 years, and throughout my time as an artist, I've learned a lot of great things. I couldn't be happier to get advice from the community. However, sometimes I'm just told things that really miss the mark, and I just need a rant about it. I'm Doublegoner, and I'm here to talk about art tips I cringe at. Tip number 1. Using a reference is bad. I cannot count the amount of times my friends have shown me a wonderful piece of art, and after I compliment them, they tell me in disappointment, I used a reference though. Using a reference doesn't devalue your art at all. Do you think that the greats like Michelangelo used no reference to create these works? No! Well, yes, if you draw something to a certain degree of accuracy without a reference, it is a sign that you have had a lot of practice. However, how are you ever going to improve if you don't even know what you're drawing? Like, if I told you to draw a googly blorp right now, you probably couldn't, because you don't even know what it looks like. Using references is a sign that you're working smarter and willing to commit to improving yourself. Never be ashamed of using one. I highly suggest using apps like Pinterest or finding reference content creators online, or even taking photos of yourself. Trust me, references are your best friend when it comes to drawing, especially if improving is your goal. Tip number 2. Sketching is bad. This is in a similar vein to the last tip. People for some reason see it as less impressive to sketch first, or even worse, it's cheating. This is a tip I see originating mainly from people who aren't even too into art, or aren't even artists. They see someone sketching, then go, "That's not real art," assuming that somehow we place the pencil down and immediately get a fully rendered Mona Lisa. Then, their reaction rubs off on other artists, making them feel wary of sketching. There is no shame in needing to take time to plan out what you're drawing. Using simple shapes such as circles and squares can really help someone understand what they're looking at. It's a great way to make sure you have your form right and makes tackling complicated forms such as hands less daunting. Some girl would constantly tell me that I'm not really drawing. It made me feel really embarrassed, and it was demotivating, especially since I was basing my strategy off of speed paints from artists I looked up to on YouTube. Was their art not real too? Of course not. Your art is your art, and you should be free to explore whatever process fits for you. Tip number 3. Being self-taught is a medal. So, I'll be honest, this one is honestly a huge call out on myself. I and many other artists used to view being self-taught as a huge medal that needs to be protected. Well, yes, learning how to draw without professional instruction is impressive. You shouldn't chase after staying self-taught at the expense of your fun or artistic ability. And where does the line of being self-taught end? Is it self-taught if you still look up YouTube videos? What's the difference between that and taking an online class? What about using references? The pieces stop lining up the more you think about the specifics. I even see people who claim to want to push themselves as an artist, yet don't allow anyone to comment on the quality of their art because then they would not consider themselves to be self-taught anymore. You absolutely do not need to subject yourself to constructive criticism if you don't want to, but to say you try to push yourself and then deny any critique just so you keep the title of being self-taught is just hypocritical. You will eventually reach a point in your art career where you'll need to seek out the help of others, be that through critique, instruction, or tutorials. Don't limit your potential to preserve your artistic virginity. Let yourself learn. In the end, I'm much more impressed by the artist's work. It doesn't matter how the artist learned those skills. Art tip number 4. The goal is improvement. Speaking of criticism, the art community has a problem of just throwing around critique unsolicited. There's even an entire community on TikTok called Art Lore that's entirely based on picking on young artists' mistakes. I do acknowledge that when you post online, you are inherently allowing people to say whatever they want about what you put out there. Yet, we as a community can still choose how we respond to what we see. There's so much emphasis on improvement in the art community that often we forget that you can just enjoy art too. Not everyone wants to improve or break into the industry. They could just find it fun. There's no shame in drawing just to draw. If they don't want advice, it costs $0 to respect that. I see so many new artists find their way into the art community, excited to learn and grow, but they get super into art and then they burn out. New artists see this culture of needing to improve all the time and set themselves on fire to meet this quote-unquote requirement. You don't need to get wildly better with every drawing. You're allowed to just enjoy art even if improving is within your goals too. Tip number 5. Draw every day. I'm pretty sure this is advice that every artist is told. At first this advice seems harmless, good even. If you keep at something every day, you are bound to improve eventually. And I actually do encourage you to draw as much as you can. But this advice is focusing on the wrong thing for those who do want to improve. You can draw every day and barely see a difference, while some can massively improve in only a few months, like PewDiePie for example. And when artists realize this, it can feel demotivating. Why can someone improve so much in only a month when others have been drawing for years and still haven't seen that level of improvement? They drew every day, right? So what's the deal? Should they just quit? Are they missing a natural gift? Of course not. The difference here is intention. Like I said, while drawing often will help you improve, you will see a lot more progress if you sit down with a specific goal to study a specific aspect of art rather than constant casual drawing. You don't have to do that every day. If you have study sessions every so often, your art will get better quicker than just relying on drawing casually. Reference other artists' work, look up tutorials, look at images on what you want to improve on, break it down, and try it out yourself. You will also reach points where you'll feel tired or like your art is regressing, so make sure to take breaks to avoid burnout. You got this. Welp, that's it. Do you have any art tips you cringe at? Did you disagree with any of my points? Let me know in the comments. This was a whole lot of fun to make. If you want me to make more videos like this, like and subscribe. It would help me a ton, especially since I'm new to this genre and would love to continue to make videos like these. Well, that's it. Have a great day.